intimidating power-to-weight ratio and original solutions, built it himself in his house in the late 90s.
Compactly positioning the rider inside the motorcycle
With car suspensions, lack of frame, engine under the tank and exhaust system above it.
an alternative suspension with implementing control of both wheels in an absolutely roofless format of a lying chassis.
The unique aerodynamics featuring a tunnel running through the entire motorcycle.
The obvious and significant advantages gained from such a configuration
Decides to create a motorcycle based on a 3-cylinder turbo diesel from Volkswagen Lupo. Thrill of a sport bike with the comfort and practicality of a road bike.
The future.
800 cubic centimeter two-stroke parallel twin liquid cooled, almost a liter of explosive high-performance two-stroke power. His base, the Tul-Aris snowmobile engine with a displacement of 700 cc and a 180-degree crankshaft, was carefully modified by Robin. Initially, it was reduced to 752 cc and generated 110 kilowatts to the rear wheel or 123 kilowatts from the crankshaft. Robin slowly raised volume to 792 cc, power to 136.5 kilowatts, equaling 185 horsepower from a small engine. And this is with a motorcycle weight of 119 kilograms. Such power allowed the pilot during the test run to outpace the dragsters based on the Kawasaki ZX-7R that were running parallel to him on the adjacent drag strip, built specifically for maximum acceleration. It must be an incredible feeling. Also noted was the extremely deep and muscular sound of this engine. Robin Tului's expertise in hardware testing for MTS and various computer modeling programs allowed him to develop a truly efficient chassis package that enabled the motorcycle to handle well and decelerate effectively, while his unconventional thinking helped build a unique engine that would fit this motorcycle in size. Weight, concept, and ultimately would surpass any other motorcycle engine of that time. The clutch is driven by a gear rack, features of a snowmobile engine. The carburetors are directed forward, and the exhaust system is compactly located under the tail of the motorcycle. The channel radiator lies almost horizontally under the seat. Air is supplied to it through an air duct above the engine. All components fit together so neatly that it seems they were created for each other, without the involvement of a real genius.
At first glance, the strange motorcycle turned out to be a brilliant invention by the legendary American racer Dan Gurney. His concept of compactly positioning the rider inside the motorcycle has had a unique influence on its handling, aerodynamics, and dynamic traits. A highly charismatic motorcycle. With amazing grip and torque, the Alligator rapidly accelerated to 50 km per h in only 1.1 seconds, setting a record in the 2002 Cycle World tests. This thing exchanged 100 in just 3 seconds. The handling was good because it is extremely close to telepathy. You are sitting inside the chassis and are the center of gravity. You can literally control a motorcycle with your thoughts. The slightest movements affect his behavior. In the end, you don't control the motorcycle from above, as is usually the case, but work from the inside. Racers and observers highly appreciated dynamics of the unusual motorcycle. In other words, mission accomplished. In the end, the Alligator remained an object of collection, reflecting the unique, innovative vision of one person who wanted to break the evolutionary chain of motorcycle design with the help of a new type of reptiles.
Four-wheel racers now manufactures this 40-mile-an-hour AAR Alligator. With its for Gurney, building the Alligator is the realization
Being a fan of two-wheeled vehicles, especially enduro, Dakartown was also full of original ideas for building motorcycles, which were accompanied by a huge experience from the world of car racing, ELF 2. The most interesting feature of the model was the unique steering system, the so-called aircraft steering wheel, which moved not left-right, but forward-backward. 2 Marzocchi shock absorbers were used in the suspension, located under the engine and working on traction, not compression. Additionally, a brand new, tested in an aerospace tube body kit with wings and carbon brakes. Generally, in this model, the hand of a Formula 1 engineer was clearly visible. ELF 2 was literally packed with aerospace know-how. 78-year-old Seiichiro Honda, regarded in Japan as nearly the motorcycle inventor, specially flew to Paris to see the futuristic Elf 2, then ordered to support Elf with engines, tests and racers in every way. Honda later purchased 13 of the 18 team patents. The Blackbird, as it was known in the French press, unfortunately, did not take part in the competition. Pilots struggled to adapt to the unique control system, and inadequate damping of the Marzocchi pair caused irreversible control issues.
It was built in a barn using square and rectangular steel pipes. It didn't need any fancy frame equipment. Absolute geometric precision. All of the welds were performed on an adorable little machine and required no effort at all. The processing was carried out using a small, affordable combo machine. It was very slow but accomplished a lot of valuable stuff. The cladding was also kept as simple as possible, trying not to look excessively ugly. The parts that could have been significantly lightened were not lightened, regardless of the lightweight of racing vehicle parts. The local MRA club and the local High Plains Raceway allowed Robert to participate in the races. And although the motorcycle didn't turn out to be competitive, competing in a racing environment provided much more valuable experience than just renting a track and rushing on the next lap. Real races on a real racetrack stimulate thinking that cannot be simulated. Creating a motorcycle is undoubtedly the most interesting part, but if you're not willing to go all out and pit it against the racing world, then you're not really proving anything. John Britton. So these new concepts come from crazy enthusiasts, many of whom seem to just like change for the sake of change. Due to this, they have the potential to make errors that can make even their most excellent concepts appear absurd. But these ideas just have to wait until traditional thinking completely goes belly up. Then these ideas gain wide popularity and acquire the label of progress. The shape of motorcycles intended for the mass market has hardly changed since Hildebrand and Wolfmuller introduced their first production motorcycle almost in 1894. V-Air is a patented, tested technology that reduces the motorcycle's aerodynamic drag by 69%. The technology features a massive aerodynamic tunnel that runs the entire length of the motorcycle. This significantly reduces its frontal area and overall drag coefficient compared to a conventional bike design. This simple solution for increasing downforce and stability is undoubtedly the holy grail in enhancing motorcycle efficiency. Wind tunnel measurements showed that the aerodynamic drag of the WMC 250 EV is about 70% less than that of other production road motorcycles. Nothing can reveal flaws in the concept as effectively as real-world testing. The company introduced a model of the new three-wheeled hybrid motorcycle WMC 300 FR. The main idea of the approach, divided into two parts, upper and lower, is a special air duct. The incoming air enters the cooling system radiator through the lower opening, while the upper opening lets it flow above the rear wheel under the seat. As a result, the incoming airflow literally passing through the motorcycle encounters almost no frontal resistance. The WMC 300 FR is like its predecessor, the Japanese Tri-City 300. They have the same single-cylinder gasoline engine, 300cc and 28 horsepower. However, the prototype is distinguished in particular by the presence of a 50-kilowatt electric motor. According to the company's plan, the electric drive will be engaged at low speeds. At higher speeds, the gasoline engine starts, and the air duct comes into play. As a result of the hybrid system, CO2 emissions are reduced by 50% compared to a purely gasoline-powered engine. Built from scratch with a design philosophy radically different from anything we've seen before.
Ricardo and Roberto have taken on the task of creating this unique design. In profile, the motorcycle resembles the unique Tyrrell P34, the only F1 car with 6 wheels. Marabese surely drew inspiration from there. The first prototype of this original motorcycle dates back to 2006 after Luciano was developing the three-wheeled MP3. But for some reason, the prototype was put on the back burner. Most likely, Marabese felt that the world was not yet ready for such a motorcycle. Today, the two brothers have resumed work on the Blade bike project, developing it weekly,
because the market seems to show signs of full readiness. The prototype, says Ricardo, had 10-inch wheels, but now we have also tried 12 inches. Currently, we are using a 300cc engine, but we believe that the motorcycle can also accommodate a 500cc or 550cc twin-cylinder engine. The different angle of the wheel's turn forms something like a track, making the bike extremely stable. Other advantages of the machine include the very narrow profile of such a motorcycle, allowing for a more comfortable ride in the city. Designers also believe that the front wheels provide greater stability and comfort when driving over bumps. Theoretical advantages may also include greater braking power and confidence in turns, considering the increased contact patch of the third tire. The design also extends the wheelbase, providing more seating space, which is also relevant for vehicles aimed at the Eastern market. However, such a concept would undoubtedly make the motorcycle heavier and more expensive to maintain, considering the additional tires and complex front suspension. Another weak argument is the claim that it will be much more convenient in city traffic, since, for example, the Yamaha Nikon is not much wider than regular bikes and scooters. The designer's claim that it is more stable on uneven surfaces also seems a bit unconvincing. Despite the complex and heavy front suspension system, the impacts on the handlebars from the two wheels, which hit bumps at different times, are likely to double the chances of feedback and instability.
Converting a sport motorcycle to a touring or road one is easier than vice versa. Based on this logic, Thunderstar invited Jeroen Bernard to collaborate in designing the motorcycle. He designed the motorcycle entirely in 3D before starting its assembly in 2005. In the same year, Startwin unveiled a fully assembled motorcycle at the Motorai Motorcycle Show event in Amsterdam. Thanks to the smart use of lightweight components and economical design, the Thunderstar 1200 TDI weighs only 205 kilograms. Almost everything you see with the naked eye is designed by us, says Startwin's Jeroen Bernard. We employed different elements from automobiles and motorcycles. We fabricated car parts to be lighter and enhance the strength of motorcycle parts. Undoubtedly, the top question authors of diesel sport bikes are asked to this day is about the power unit it possesses. They gradually raised it to observe and analyze how such a locomotive movement would impact the 5-speed transmission system over time and overall on the motorcycle's design. By the way, the transmission was borrowed from the FJ 1200. Thunderstar rides just like a gasoline-powered sport bike, except of course for the enormous torque. And this is on any gear. This means that you absolutely don't care which gear you're in, because it accelerates quite strongly on each one. Plus, it has a unique sound and you can experience it right now. Its main idea was to combine the qualities of a sport bike and a road bike in one machine. GK Design, who developed this motorcycle, wanted to look into the future. A sport bike that can transform into a practical motorcycle with the push of a button. The front part of the large aluminum frame was equipped with a hinge, allowing the handlebar position to be adjusted in height. The driver's seat also had height adjustment, as did the footpegs with controls. Technically, the Morpho was an interesting motorcycle with unique solutions such as the muffler. Take a closer look, it is integrated directly into the motorcycle's frame. The wheels can be quickly replaced both front and rear, with brake discs and a chain drive on the left side. Unfortunately, the rear swing arm is not a single-sided one, as the patent for this technology was held by Honda. The front suspension of the Morpho is very similar to that in the Honda Elf prototypes. A unique front suspension, which is a cantilever wheel mounting system with special rods and joints responsible for steering and damping. This design is free from the biggest drawback of the telescopic fork: high internal friction, slowing down the suspension's response to road conditions. It shifted to the GTS 1000. Morpho and the GTS shared the same engine. They inherited the power unit from the FCR 1000. Thanks to 110 horsepower and what Yamaha claimed to be progressive work in the wind tunnel, the Morpho was supposed to reach 306 kilometers per hour. Even with the specified weight of 315 kilograms,